Be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to be notified every time we release a new video.
Nuno Espírito Santo. Despite his long career playing for several renowned clubs, Nuno Espírito Santo's playtime was limited. The São Tomé and Príncipe-born goalkeeper spent pretty much his entire career as a backup. Nevertheless, that was an experience that helped him shape the way he viewed the game as a manager, often referred to as simply Nuno. The charismatic manager started his football career with Vitória SC in Guimarães, battling veteran goalkeepers for first-choice status from a young age. Becoming the first client of Jorge Mendes in 1996, the famous agent quickly brokered a $1 million transfer in January to La Liga's Deportivo de La Coruña. However, Nuno Santo spent 3 of his 6 seasons in Galicia out on loan, always backing up the regular goalkeepers. Jose Mourinho managed FC Porto, paid €3 million to bring Nuno back to Portugal in 2002. It was at Porto where Nuno achieved the greatest success of his footballing career. Despite being an unused substitute, he lifted the UEFA Champions League trophy in May 2004. In the beginning of 2005, he was sold to Russian Premier League's FC Dynamo Moscow. 2 years later, he had a brief and unsuccessful stint with Rio Aves, eventually relegated from Portugal's Premier League. Returning to FC Porto the same year, he spent the rest of his career there before finally retiring in 2010. His managerial years that followed after his retirement made the name we know him for nowadays. Having lifted the Champions League trophy under Jose Mourinho, Nuno was inspired by the pure belief incited by the Special One upon his players. His ability to adapt to different scenarios has helped raise the challenge everywhere he has been. Instead of being married to a specific play style or formation, Espírito Santo kept his general principles throughout, while adapting and improving his approach to the players he had available. His enormous potential as a manager was first seen at Rio Aves in 2012, where he led the club to its very first Europa League campaign through a counter-attacking style that benefited their pacey wingers and took advantage of Jan Oblak's talent in goal. His move to Valencia in 2014 forced him to adopt to a more dominant approach. Nuno kept experimenting with various formations though. After finishing 4th in La Liga in 2014-15, his contract was terminated after a disappointing start to the following campaign, even though he was named La Liga Manager of the Month 3 times. Taking over FC Porto for the 2016-17 season, Nuno once again changed his coaching style. His squad became a bit less appealing to watch, with a higher tendency to go for long passes, making the team, however, more dangerous from crosses than any other side in the league. Nuno Santo was dismissed in May 2016 after one season that failed to deliver a trophy for the Portuguese Colossus. Just a few weeks later, EFL Championship club Wolverhampton Wanderers appointed Santo as Paul Lambert's successor on a 3-year deal. That was just one of the numerous moves of the ambitious plan of the new owners of Wolves, the Chinese multinational conglomerate holding company Fosun International had. In the summer of 2016, they bought the club's parent company, WW 1990 Limited, from Steve Morgan and his Bridgemere Group company for an undisclosed amount. It was later revealed that the investment was about £45 million. Knowledgeable to the successful investing practices, they hired high-potential Nuno and a couple of talented players, such as Helder Costa from Benfica for €15 million and Ivan Cavallero from Monaco for €8 million. These investments were successful as, at the age of 44 years, Nuno Santo succeeded in leading the club to the Premier League after a 6-year absence, achieving Premier League promotion with 4 matches remaining in the EFL Championship season. That achievement earned Nuno a well-deserved contract extension until 2021. At Wolves, the manager has reconnected with his usual intense, quick-passing football. Nuno chose the 3-4-3 formation, which he has not used previously. The deep midfielder that used to drop between the Valencia centre-backs was now an actual defender, but he served the same ball-playing purposes. The striker, being an outlet for longer passes through his hold-up play, was also seen at Porto. Wolves' fullbacks were a vital part of the offensive process, often acting like complete wing-backs. Nuno Santo's midfielders at Wolves had more controlling roles, not focusing that much into penetration into the final third. Nuno played two of them deeper, making the squad hard to break down centrally. One of these deep-lying playmakers was Portugal's hot prospect, Ruben Neves, who Wolves bought from FC Porto for €17.9 million. Nuno's tactical instructions gave the inside forwards the possession and freedom they needed in the attacking phase. One of them was the 20-year-old Diogo Jota, who caught the eye with his ability. Wolves owners made a fantastic deal with the young Portuguese, as they managed to get him for €14 million from Atletico Madrid. The other was the powerful and agile Adama Traore, bought from Middlesbrough for €20 million. Santo's rigid tactic that provided a sweet mix of young talents and mature players, such as goalkeeper Rui Patricio, midfielder João Martina, and forward Raul Jimenez, turned out to be quite fruitful. In his second month managing in the Premier League, Nuno was awarded the Manager of the Month title after his team went unbeaten in September 2018 and only conceded one goal. It was in fact the first time that a Wolverhampton Wanderers manager had secured that award. Despite having a tough period when they won just a single point in 6 matches, Wolves finished 7th in the 2018-19 league season. It was the club's highest Premier League rank and their highest in the English top flight in the past 39 years. Following the FA Cup being won by champions Manchester City, Wolves' league position assured them a place in the UEFA Europa League's second qualifying round. The next 2019-20 season saw Nuno's team achieve a consecutive 7th place finish in the league, with a record points total of 59, and reach the UEFA Europa League quarter-finals, the club's best such performance since being finalists in the 1971-72 season. In the league, they managed to record 11 games without a single loss. However, as Arsenal won the FA Cup, this position was not sufficient to qualify the club for the Europa League again. In fact, the 6th position would only have been guaranteed with victory on the final match. Wolves lost 2-0 at Chelsea though. Still, a huge part of that success for Nuno's squad was the Mexican complete forward, Raul Jimenez, who was bought for a then record €38 million fee from Benfica and scored 27 goals in all competitions. That season, Nuno also grabbed his second Premier League Manager of the Month award. Another remarkable personal achievement the head coach made that season was his honorary doctorate in sport by the University of Wolverhampton. Following Nuno Santo's successful campaigns and the forward-thinking of Wolves owners, in September 2020, Santo's contract was extended until the summer of 2023. After the departure of talented Diogo Jota to Liverpool for €44.7 million, the club bought Fabio Silva from FC Porto for a record €40 million and Nelson Semedo from Barcelona for €32 million, with the ambition to make the squad even more potent. With these reinforcements, Nuno was once again the Premier League Manager of the Month, this time for October, with a run of 4 fixtures unbeaten, including 3 wins without conceding a goal. In February 2021, he had his 102nd Premier League game as Wolves head coach in a 1-1 draw against Newcastle, making him the longest-serving Wolverhampton Wanderers head coach in the Premier League era, surpassing Mick McCarthy. Despite starting promisingly, Wolves suffered a difficult 2021 campaign, a season played almost entirely without crowds due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The group lost their talismanic forward Raúl Jiménez to a season-ending injury, where he fractured his skull during an aerial collision in a game at Arsenal in November 2020, and subsequently struggled in finding the net for the rest of the campaign. Despite the new signings, the squad failed to register a win for 8 consecutive games and finished the season in 13th place with just 45 points. In May 2021, the club announced that Nuno Espírito Santo would leave the club by mutual consent after the final match against Manchester United. 3 weeks later, Wolves announced the appointment of former Benfica head coach Bruno Lage as Nuno Espírito Santo's replacement. The same month, Tottenham Hotspur announced Nuno as their new head coach on a 2-year contract. The contract had a clause that allowed extending it for 1 additional year. He debuted promisingly with a 1-0 home win against reigning champions Manchester City. In fact, Nuno achieved the best start to a Premier League season for Tottenham, after beating Watford to secure 3 wins from their first 3 matches for the campaign. He was awarded the Premier League Manager of the Month title for the 4th time in August 2021. Surprisingly, on the 1st of November 2021, Nuno Santo was sacked after Tottenham lost 4 in their last 6 Premier League games. Antonio Conte quickly replaced him on the following day. Being a flexible master tactician and labelled one of the best coaches in the world by legendary Pep Guardiola, Nuno Santo is always receptive to new ideas and constantly evolving the style of the teams he manages. He will definitely be a head coach to watch in the years that follow.